Hi, my name is Andrew. About 20 years ago, I went to the United States from South Korea to study abroad by myself. I was 15 years old at that time. I had very little English and I didn't know anything about American culture except what I've seen from movies and sitcoms. Even though I had a privilege of attending a prestigious private high school and then a very competitive university in the States, I struggled tremendously because of my lack of English skill and also the lack of a basic understanding of the culture, how people think, speak, and act. I can still remember falling asleep in every English class in my first year because I didn't understand anything, and being humiliated in front of the class for not completing an assignment that I didn't understand how to even begin. Still, academic learning was easier to learn than the cultural learning. When I went to the United States, I had no one around me who could help me transition into the life in America. I had so many questions, and most of the times I was confused and often disappointed and discouraged because the way I learned from Korea of how to think, interact with people, and do my everyday life was so vastly different from the way everything is done in the States. And I had no one beside me who would walk alongside with me and guide me and teach me in my everyday context. So even after going to the university and graduating from the university, I was still struggling, feeling isolated from the society and disconnected from the community. I couldn't find a sense of belonging anywhere, neither in the States nor in Korea, since I was becoming more and more distant from Korean culture as well. Thankfully, I survived my long struggle as an international student. About 5 years ago, I came to Canada, and my life in Canada has been a journey of deep healing and restoration. Today, I feel I am very much an active part of the Canadian society. I have so many people and communities around me who support me and encourage me and pray for me. I successfully finished my graduate school education as well as my TESOL certificate with practicum program. I got married here to a beautiful wife I dearly love. I also found a new calling in life, helping international students and serving them in their journey in Canada. I know their struggles and what they go through in life as an international student because I've been through it myself. I lived more than half of my life as an international student, as a foreigner. It is a major part of my identity. International students and foreigners are my family. That's where I belong. And that's my heart and motivation for starting Journey English Learning Center and Community House. I want to help international students who are relatively new to Canada, not only in their journey of English learning, but also in the journey of life in Canada in general. That's why we are not just a learning center where classes are held, but also a community house, a home-like environment, living with other students and a community house leader who deeply cares for each student and other teachers and staff who can guide them in their transition into the Canadian life. We offer highly customized curriculum for each student. When a new student comes in, we get to know the student through everyday contexts like meals and doing hobbies together. And we also have an hour-long interview to learn more about the student's own journey of English learning and their journey of life. And according to the student's needs, their interests and passions, their learning styles and future plans, our teachers create a tailored learning plan for each student. The activities and lessons will come from the students' real-life experiences, and the topics of learning will be from the areas of their interests and passions. The students will feel they're learning English for their own life, what they would actually like to use English for, instead of learning from boring textbooks that are not relevant to their life. The community house is a very important part of Journey English. So many international students come to Canada to learn English, yet they are disappointed by the lack of opportunities to actually practice and use English in everyday context. In a typical English school, the time that students can practice their English is quite limited. They get to speak English only during class times, and even that opportunity is usually taken by just one or two very active students, and there's not much left for the rest of the students. When they go home, they either don't have anyone to practice English with, or even if they have housemates or homestay parents, they're not very available, and they're mostly busy and not very interested in helping the students improve their English. In our community house at Journey English, students live together and therefore make every situation at home a learning opportunity. They get to practice English with fellow students who are equally passionate about learning English in every possible daily context that happens in a home. And if there is any question during conversations or a topic or theme that students want to learn more deeply about, they can bring them to their tutors in one-on-one sessions and learn about them. The community house will have healthy rhythms that encourage students to have healthy lifestyle and effective learning. However, it is not a dormitory with a strict rules. It is a community house for independent adult individuals who intentionally care for each other and for the community. Therefore, after the class times and the basic essential community rhythms and guidelines, for example, weekly house dinner and house chores and etc., students have complete freedom to shape their own life in the community house. The last and very important thing I'd like to share about is my faith in Jesus. I believe that God created human beings for purpose, the wonderful and glorious purpose of reflecting God's image in love and managing the whole creation for peace, prosperity, justice, human flourishing, care, worship, and love. However, I fall short of the glorious purpose for my life as a human being, and instead, I'm often filled with selfishness and self-centeredness. There was a moment in my university years when I realized the deep darkness within me, which first led me to depression because of the shame and guilt, but it eventually led me to Jesus, who saved me from my sin and from the justice I deserve, which is eternal death. Jesus saved me by his sacrificial love on the cross, by dying for me and bearing my sin on his shoulder. Ever since then, Jesus has been my deepest and lasting hope, even at the rock bottom of my life. He promises that I always have a place to belong, according to the Bible in John 14:3, and that I am no longer a foreigner or an outsider, but a citizen, an insider in God's eternal kingdom. And it's possible not because of anything that I have done, but only because of the sacrificial love of Jesus, because God is love. And this is the deepest motivation for me to do anything and everything in my life, including Journey English. Knowing I am saved and blessed, I do everything out of deep gratitude in my heart, not from a position of lack, but from a position of abundance. I want to participate in God's work of restoration in me, healing me from the inside out to make me more like Jesus, full of love and compassion. I also want to participate in God's mission of restoring all creation, doing what I can with what I have in my life to manage the earth by fostering prosperity, justice, peace, and love. That's why Journey English is committed to fostering human prosperity and flourishing through excellent and quality ESL education. Not only that, we're also committed to justice, a very important value for us, driving us to be standing side by side with the students, walking alongside each student, supporting and guiding them, especially as we often recognize that international students tend to be more vulnerable to mistreatment as foreigners in Canada. You may not agree with what I believe, and that's perfectly fine. We're open to anyone and everyone, regardless of their religious background. If you love Jesus and would like to grow in your relationship with him, perfect. We offer spiritual formation and discipleship support, also tailored to your own faith journey. in connection with the local Canadian church and parachurch organizations. If you're not interested, we absolutely respect it. There's no obligation to participate in the spiritual program, but we want you to know that you're always welcome to try or ask any questions you might have. Journey English is a safe place for all people. My Christian conviction forces me to extend love and compassion to all humanity because I believe every person is created by God with God's image in them, preciously and uniquely, with glorious purpose. We welcome everyone. The bottom line is, your journey matters. Do you want to learn English in Canada in a safe home with a family-like community who can help you with cultural transition? I invite you. Do you want to have an ESL education that is meaningful and relevant to your life and your future and your dream and passion? Journey English invites you. Do you want to have lots of opportunities for a genuine Canadian experience and meet local Canadian people and build real relationship with them? Journey English is the place where you can do exactly that. And do you want to grow in your relationship with God or explore the Christian faith and the meaning of your life? We can help you with that. If your answer to any of these questions is yes, then I invite you to consider coming to Journey English. Thank you for your time. Please feel free to look around the website for more information about who we are, why we do what we do, and what we offer. You can apply online anytime by clicking Apply button on the website. If you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to email us or call us. Thank you very much.